Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is now week 8 in the NFL, so we're back with my weekly NFL predictions. If you enjoy the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get to my week 8 prediction. So, as always, we start with the previous week recap. And pretty good. We're having 2 good weeks in a row. So yeah, not lots to read this week. Broncos beat the Saints. I don't know what I was thinking about the Saints. Maybe I just didn't realize they had so many wide receivers out and their starting running back was out, but completely oblivious in that one. So Broncos smacked the Saints down. Jaguars beat the Patriots. My Seahawks smacked the Falcons, which was a pretty good win for us. So that was surprising for me. Bills beat the Titans. It was close at half, but it wasn't close again after that. Bengals beat the Browns. Deshaun Watson is out for the year. Very unfortunate injury for him. Packers beat the Texans. Texans just haven't looked good recently. It's kind of worrisome. Colts beat the Dolphins. Lions beat the Vikings. Eagles beat the Giants. Rams beat the Raiders. Commanders beat the Panthers. They lost Jaden Daniels for a little bit. Chiefs beat the 49ers. 49ers just did not show up in this game. I know the injuries are starting to mount up for them, which if you watch my early season prediction, I said it. I said the Niners were going to get very injured this year, not because I was wishing injury upon people, but they were a little too healthy last year. So I was right. Anyway, Steelers beat the Jets. Jets just, I don't know what they are. I don't think they know what they are, but yeah, not great. Ravens beat the Bucks. That was a lot less close of a game than I thought it was going to be. And the Cardinals beat the Chargers on a last-second field goal. So Chargers just, doing Charger things. So 11-4 on the week. Not too shabby at all. We are plus 20 on the year. So after week 7, I am 63-48. So not too bad at all. And now moving over to my weekly Rogine power rankings. So coming in at number 5. Also, remember this is a power ranking, so it's kind of, it might be out of sorts a little bit, but it's just my opinion. So number 5, I got the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers are looking very good. I think their defense is elite. I think if Jordan Love can just clean up a lot of those mistakes, a lot of those turnovers that he makes, I think this team can live up to that number 5 spot that I have them currently. Number 4, I did not move the Minnesota Vikings at all. I think just losing on a last-second field goal is, I'm not going to move you. I think the Vikings are still really good. I said I needed them to prove it to me one more time. And I think they did. I think they did prove it to me. They are very good. Sam Darnold played very well, which I was a little surprised by. But yeah, Vikings look very good. Justin Jefferson is still the best skill player in the league, in my opinion. Coming in at number 3 is the Baltimore Ravens. So you're going to see a trend with my top 4 if you watch last week's video. So with the Ravens, I think the Ravens are the second best team in the AFC. I think their run game is top notch, and I think there's only 2 teams that can stop their run game. So you can probably assume who those teams are. But yeah, I think the Ravens, their defense is starting to put it together. They just need to finish games. They're letting teams back in it late. I know the Buccaneers scored 21 points in the fourth quarter last week, so just cleaned it up in the end of games. But I think the Ravens are elite. Lamar is looking like an MVP again. I don't think he'll get it this year, but yeah, Ravens looking very good. Number 2 is the Detroit Lions. I think Lions are the best team in the NFC. I said it last week. I think they are going to remain number 2 until they lose. They just look so much better than everybody else. Even though they only beat the Vikings by 2, I think the Lions let the Vikings back into that game. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC. Number 1 is the Chiefs. Moving on, we'll talk about the Chiefs a little bit more when we get to their game this week, because the reason I upload on Wednesdays is because they do a lot of breaking news Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So I like to just, have all my chickens in a row before, I start counting them. Anyway, so there are no teams on a bye this week. So we have 16 games this week. So very lucky for us. But starting off with Thursday night football, we have the Minnesota Vikings against the LA Rams. So for the Vikings, I think their defense, they just give up too many big plays. And I know it's against the top-notch Lions team last week, but they're giving up way too many plays. Jahmyr Gibbs just running anything he wanted, he got last week. And that's just not a recipe for success for this defense. So, yeah, they just need to clean it up on defense a little bit. And I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call for Brian Flores. So he will be prepared the next time those two teams meet. I think they need to continue to feed Justin Jefferson. I think he is the best player on their roster. Keep getting him the ball because he's elite, man. He is, like I said, he is one of probably top 3 skill position players in the NFL currently. I love Justin Jefferson. He seems like a really down-to-earth person, and I really like him. So, yeah, I think keep feeding him, and it's a recipe for success for this team. And I think, like I said, Sam Darnold, he's looking better than I thought he was going to. I think if he continues his play, he'll have a starting job somewhere else because, as you guys know, they drafted that rookie J.J. McCarthy because they want him to be the franchise quarterback going forward. So, we'll see. We'll see what this team's got. As for the Rams, it was a have-to-have-it game last week. They could not be 1-5 and have a hope to make the playoffs. They're so injured, and they just don't. Because they're so injured, they just don't know what to do. Their offense is very stagnant. They run the ball, but to almost no avail sometimes. Kyron Williams still gets his yards, but it's on more carries than I would comfortably like. But hopefully they can get some players back. It's just not looking great for the Rams right now. I think their defense had some life last week, but like I said, injuries just really hampered this team, and it's kind of ruined part of my Super Bowl prediction for this year. But I do have the Vikings winning this game. I got the Vikings 31, Rams 20. I think the Rams depleted team is just not going to be enough to beat the Vikings. And moving over to our early window games, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Cincinnati Bengals. So for the Eagles, they need to just keep feeding Saquon, man. Saquon is the best player he's top 3 player on their roster. So I'm just feeding Saquon every single time I can. They don't give up on the run game because most of the time this team is ahead. So yeah, just keep feeding Saquon. He's one of the best players you guys got. I think Jalen Hurts is doing just enough. He gets sacked a lot more than I would like. And when he escapes the pocket, I'd say it's about a 50% chance that he is going to get a sack or just throw it out of bounds. So I don't know. I don't know why he escapes the pocket just for kind of no reason sometimes. Anyway, Jalen Hurts is he's just doing enough. I think their defense looked very hungry last week, and I'm still very impressed with this defense. I just don't know how sustainable this will be against more quality opponents. So I think we'll definitely see that this week. As for the Bengals, I think their offense has been a lot slower recently, and I'm not sure if they're able to play up or down to their opponents, but their offense is just a little worrisome right now. So I hope they can figure it out. I don't know, man. Chase Brown just isn't the starter. I think he might be a serviceable backup, but if I'm the Bengals before this trade deadline, I'm going to sign somebody. Go get a running back. Go get somebody because this run game is just not working. They really, really should have just paid Joe Mixon, and I think this team would be a lot better than their record shows. I think their defense has been a lot better lately, too. They've been playing a lot hungrier. I know they played the Browns last week, and the Browns are the Browns, but I genuinely think their defense has been playing a lot better. And if their offense can go back to what they were, and their defense can continue where they are now, I think that's a Super Bowl team right there. I do have the Bengals winning this game. This one could go either way, but I'm leaning the Bengals right now. I got the Bengals 28, Eagles 27. Our next game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. So for the Ravens, Lamar and Derrick Henry is probably the best combo in the league. It's like thunder and lightning, but they're both thunder and lightning, and it's insane. I really like this team. I really like Lamar and Derrick Henry, and I think Lamar, the time is now. I think this is the best opportunity he's going to have to win a Super Bowl, and I think they feel it. And I really like this team. If their defense can just play a full 4-quarter game, I think this team is going to be very, very good. And I think their defense played well last week for 3 quarters, but like I said, in the 4th quarter, letting up 21 points, letting the Buccaneers back in that game a little bit was not what I wanted. But yeah, like I said, I think their defense is playing well. So I think if they continue for 4 quarters, they can do it. I think their offensive scheme, they kind of got to figure it out. I think they need to load manage Derrick Henry a little bit more. The reason I say that, just because I think he's getting a lot of carries and it's not sustainable going forward, especially, a 17 game season going into the playoffs. And I don't expect the Ravens to get a first round bye, because I think the Chiefs will be getting that first round bye. So they definitely need to start load managing Derrick Henry, and that's kind of the only thing I have for this team. If I was them, I'd probably go sign a wide receiver, just so we can have somebody that can back up Zay Flowers. Well, not back up, but like help Zay Flowers. But other than that, I really like this Ravens team. As for the Browns, no Watson. I think Jameis Winston is going to start. If he's not, he definitely should start. He gives his team a new life. But also, Nick Chubb came back last week. I picked him up on the waiver wires when I was in my fantasy draft. So he's back. So feed Nick Chubb, let Jameis start, and I think this team can be serviceable, because I think their defense is elite, and they can only hold for so long. So I don't know. I'm indifferent about the Browns right now, but I do have the Ravens winning this game. I get the Ravens 31, Browns 18. In my opinion, I don't think the Browns have a prayer in this one. Our next game is the Tennessee Titans at the Detroit Lions. So for the Titans, I don't care who it is. If it's Rudolph, if it's Levis, it really doesn't matter. This offense is trash. I really just don't like what this offense is doing. Their offensive scheme is just not great. I don't think they should have fired their head coach last year, because I think he was good in both aspects, offense and defense. And I think their record would be a ton better if I think it was, I can't remember his name, but yeah, if they had kept their head coach last year, I think they would be a lot better. I think Pollard has burst, but he's just not a sustainable running back one. I think the Cowboys learned that last year, but I think the Cowboys would, give an arm and a leg to have Pollard back this year, because their run game is even worse now. But I don't think Pollard is a true number one, but I think he can be a good thunder and lightning combo. But there's just no thunder for him right now. And I think their defense has regressed tremendously. I know they have a few injuries as well, but I don't know. This defense just is letting out way too many big plays, and I kind of just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel for this team. I expect their coaching staff to probably lose their jobs at the end of the year, but we'll see. As for the Lions, I think Jahmyr Gibbs, I think if they need him to be running back one, because I know Montgomery came back at the end of the game last week. If they need Jahmyr Gibbs to be running back one, he will be just fine. He is elite. I've been saying it since he was drafted. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a tremendous athlete, and I really like him on this Lions team. So if you need him to be running back one, he'll be just fine. I think their offense is top three. They have so many yards, and Jared Goff just doesn't throw incompletions because he's not getting pressured a whole lot. So I think if there's no pressure on Jared Goff, I think this team is, bar none, the best team in the NFC. I think they just got to clean up those sloppy mistakes, those turnovers, those fumbles, that sort of thing. I think if they can clean that up, especially their penalties as well, I think that if they can just clean up the sloppy mistakes, like I said, this team kind of has a free ticket all the way to the NFC Championship game. I got the Lions winning this game. I got the Lions 40, Titans 20. I'll be surprised if the Titans are in this very long. Our next game is the Arizona Cardinals at the Miami Dolphins. So for the Cardinals, I think the off-script Cardinals is the best version of the Cardinals. I think when Kyler Murray can escape the pocket, I think everybody just knows how he's going to perform. So they are just even better when he's off-script. So I think if they continue to do so, I see success happening for this team. I really do. And I really like their pass rush. They definitely have a good scheme, and they know what they are, and they try to execute that very effectively, and I really like what this pass rush does. They were getting Justin Herbert off his spot a lot last week, and I really like that for this Cardinals team. I think they need to continue to feed James Conner, especially in the run-pass option, getting him the ball in space, getting the ball passed to him as well. I think James Conner is a good athlete, so just let your elite playmakers make plays. As for the Dolphins, I think their offensive play calling is awful. How do you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and neither of them get any touches? That just makes absolutely negative zero sense to me. Negative zero. Anyway, yeah, it just makes absolutely no sense at all to me. They need to figure it out, or Mike McDaniel will probably not have a job anymore. I think they need to feed Achane more. I think he's serviceable for sure, and I think he has a lot of great moments, but he can't do anything without the passing game to back him up. So they need to feed Achane while also getting their elite wide receivers involved. And like I said here, use your effing skill players, dude. You guys have Tyreek Hill. I'm running jet sweeps or fake jet sweeps where one guy will come through, Jalen Waddle will be in my backfield, I'll hand it off to him, I'll give it to Achane, I'll run the triple option. Like, what are we doing? Put me in as OC. We'll score 40 on everybody. Anyway, I got the Cardinals winning this game. I got the Cardinals 24, Dolphins 15. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins were in this, but I'm leaning the Cardinals right now just because I'm a little higher on them. Our next game is the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Who the hell is watching this game? Anyway, so for the Jets, I think they have way too many Aaron Rodgers turnovers. When it comes to his interceptions, sometimes even his fumbles, to even him just throwing the ball away when he isn't happy with what he thinks the play is going to be, it's just not a recipe for success. I really just don't understand this version of Aaron Rodgers. I didn't really understand him when he was in Green Bay either. Apart from his Super Bowl year, I know he's won MVP a lot, but I don't know. I'm just not overly impressed by what he's doing, especially now. So, we'll see. I think they need to run the ball. I think Breece Hall is one of their best players. Get him the ball. And this team is exactly the same as what's it called? The Dolphins. You have so many skill players. How is your offensive scheme so bad that you only score 15 points? I genuinely don't understand. You should be figuring it out to get your skill players the ball in space so they can thrive. Let them make the plays. Because having Aaron Rodgers have to control the entire offense and everything is predicated on Aaron Rodgers is not sustainable anymore. Aaron Rodgers is just not that quarterback anymore. I think Hassan Reddick will get his start this week. He did sign last week, so I think he's going to be playing this week, probably getting his first start, because I don't think I saw him last week when they were playing. So Hassan Reddick is back. Well, I say back. He's here for the first time now. So for the Patriots, I think Drake May gives them a little bit of hope. I know he got a lot of garbage time yards last week, but I think with no O-line, it's kind of, you got to do what you can. So he was getting a lot of garbage yards, but he definitely looks better than, he definitely looks serviceable. I think their run game is just awful. I think they have no run game. Ramondre Stevenson, I think he's serviceable, but I don't know, with no O-line and just not elite catchers of the football, like tight ends or wide receivers. I know they have Hunter Henry, but I don't know. I'm just really down on this Patriots team. I expected a lot. Well, I expected a little bit more, but I didn't expect them to be 1-6 going into week 8. But I got the Jets. It's kind of the battle of trash ass teams, but yeah, I got the Jets 27, Patriots 20, I guess. Our next game is the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for the Falcons, I think their O-line sucked last week. I know the Seahawks had most of their starters back last week on defense, but I still think their O-line just isn't giving Kirk Cousins enough time, and those hits are gonna catch up to him. He's an aging player who's just got an Achilles injury, so O-line needs to play better. I think Bijan showed up last week. Bijan looked really good against my Seahawks, but Algier didn't, and they kind of need that thunder and lightning combo in order for their run game to kind of, alleviate. anyway, to kind of help the pass game be more effective. So I think if they can get both of those guys involved, I think this team is going to be just fine. I think the defense, they let up way too many big plays last week. I know their secondary was just, the Seahawks were kind of just getting anything that they wanted to. I know Gino only threw for 200 yards, but DK was making like the most insane catches. And I know DK is DK, but yeah, they just gotta clean up a couple of things. Excuse me. As for the Buccaneers, I think their offense was so super duper stagnant for 3 quarters, and it was like at the very beginning of the game, it looked really good for the first like 5 minutes of the first quarter, and then they did not show back up until the fourth quarter. So they just need to play quality football for 4 quarters. I think they need to get White and Ingram involved early. I think their run game is a very good indication on this team's success. If their run game is good, this team is very good. I think getting the complementary running game going with Baker is a great recipe for success with this team. And it's very unclear when Evans or Godwin will return. I think Godwin is out for the year. Evans, from what I read, they're not expecting him back until week 12. So just really unfortunate for this team when they were looking so promising. So it's really unfortunate. Those injuries are just going to hamper them. I got the Falcons in this game. I got the Falcons 31, Bucks 27. I think at this point, with those injuries, I think it's the Falcons division to lose at this point. Our next game is the Green Bay Packers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for the Packers, I think if Jordan Love just cleans up those interceptions, and I'm not saying he can't throw any interceptions, but just clean them up, maybe get 1 a game instead of, 2 or 3 like he has been since he's returned to the from his injury. I think this team is going to be extremely good. I really like this Packers team and all facets of the game. I think if they keep feeding Josh Jacobs, this team is going to be elite, genuinely. And I think this team is the NFC North is just kind of they're insane right now. They got 4 pretty good teams, so yeah, I'm very, very excited to see more of these teams. I think their secondary looked great last week. They're just ball hawkers, man. They want the ball and they'll go and snatch it from you. So continue to play that way, Packers, and you're definitely going to make the playoffs. I'm not sure if you're going to win your division, but you'll definitely make the playoffs. As for the Jaguars, I think they have a potential 2-headed backfield with Etienne and Bigsby. What's his name? Doug Peterson did say that Etienne is still the starter, but I'm giving both guys carries. They both look really good, and I think Bigsby, he definitely proved himself. I think mistake-free Trevor Lawrence is the only way for this team to be successful. I think their O-line play isn't great, but this team completely is reliant on Trevor Lawrence being successful. So they need him to be comfortable, and they will do what they need to do. I think their defense has to play a little bit hungrier, especially this week, because Jordan Love will throw you the ball. You got to go get it. So I'm kind of optimistic for the Jags, but I still think the Packers got this game. I got the Packers 31, Jaguars 23. Honestly, like I said, I think the Packers are kind of getting into their rhythm, and I think they're top 5 team right now. Our next game is the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Finally, a good game to watch. So for the Colts, I don't know how it's kind of weird. I don't know how good Anthony Richardson is actually. Like the way he throws, like his arm is a cannon, but his accuracy is just not good. And his running ability is it's elite for sure. But I don't know. I can't make sense of what or how good he is. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I think if he can become a little bit better of a pocket passer, I think this team is going to be amazing. But I do think their run game needs to be established, especially with Anthony Richardson. But they need to teach him to get his ass out of bounds. He is going to get injured again because he was injured last year. He got injured in one of the games this year and had to miss a game. So I think if Anthony Richardson can just learn to slide or learn to get the fuck out of bounds, I think this team is going to be decent. I think the defense is, I think they're still better than advertised. I like their D-line. They're a little injured. I think DeForest Buckner's on injured reserve right now, but I like this defense a lot, and I hope they continue to have success. But moving over to the Texans. So CJ Stroud has been looking bad lately. I got him in fantasy, and he is just ass, especially last week. He didn't even throw for 90 yards last week. CJ Stroud's got to figure it out. I know the Nico Collins injury is kind of weighing heavily on this team because he was leading the league in receiving yards before he got injured. But you got to figure it out. It's next man up. Feed Tank Dell. Feed Joe Mixon. And I think this team can get back to being successful. That was not a good loss last week. I didn't like that loss. They had the game in their hands, and they kind of just threw it away. So figure it out, Houston. I still got the Houston Texans winning this game. I got the Texans 31, Colts 28. This one could go either way. And this is actually a new thing that we're starting this week. This is a trap game. If you are a betting person, I would not put any money on this game. This division cannibalizes itself. They will win against each other one week, lose against each other the next week. So if you are a betting person, I wouldn't put any money on this game. Alrighty, now heading over to our late window of games, we have the New Orleans Saints at the LA Chargers. So for the Saints, they have so many injuries. I know Derek Carr is still out. I think Chris Olave is still out. It's kind of just really unfortunate events for this team. They had so much promise when they were 2-0. We're all kind of surprised at how good they looked. Excuse me. And now they kind of just look pedestrian. They just look very, very bad. I think Spencer Rattler looked like his draft pick last week. And what by that I mean, I think he was a 5th round draft pick. He looked like a 5th round draft pick last week. I'm not sure how successful he can be in this league, but I think just the Saints scheme is just not ideal for the way Spencer Rattler plays the game. I think they need a lot of their key players back. I think Kamara is supposed to return this week, so I think they just got to pound the rock and kind of just pray to God at this point. As for the Chargers, I think they take care of the football, but I think they just need to get back to taking care of it exceptionally well. I think that's what was the recipe for success for their offense. So I think if they can get back to that, I think this team can return to being mid. I think they need to continue to feed Will Dissly because they don't have a true wide receiver number one. And it's kind of difficult because the way, I can't remember if it's Jim or John, but the way Harbaugh likes to have his offense, he wants his quarterback to have a lot of outside passes in order to let their elite skill players make plays. That is not a recipe for success when you don't have any number one wide receivers, in my opinion. They got to go get somebody. I think this team will not be successful without a number one wide receiver. I think Quentin Johnston is still out, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if it's in the draft or they're going to go pick up somebody. I doubt they're going to pick up anybody, but yeah, I just don't think their offensive scheme works because they just don't have the right players quite yet. I still got the Chargers in this game. I got the Chargers 20, Saints 17. This is a game that the Chargers could absolutely charger it up. So we'll see. Our next game is the Buffalo Bills at my Seattle Seahawks. That was a great win for us last week. So starting with the Bills, I think the Amari Cooper addition opens everything up. I think Keon Coleman went for his rookie career high last week. I think the Amari Cooper signing was immensely beneficial for this team. I think they still need to go get a running back because I still don't like this run game at all. And I'm not sure how sustainable this is going to be, especially when they make the playoffs and have to go against the Kansas City Chiefs and they can't run the ball. So they become extremely one-dimensional. And then Josh Allen starts throwing interceptions. It's just not going to be great. Well, it's just going to be the exact same thing we see every single time the Bills make the playoffs. Anyway, getting a little pessimistic. I think if they continue to have mistake-free Josh Allen, I think they're going to be successful enough to win their division and make the playoffs for sure. As for my Seahawks, I think our defense played well last week. They just need to replicate that shit every single week for the rest of the freaking year. All right. I think they need to continue to feed Kenneth Walker. He is just so elite, and I don't mean just feed him in the run game. By all means, keep running him, but get him involved in the pass game. He is so damn fast, and he is shifty as hell. So get Kenneth Walker the flipping football, please. I think the DK injury leaves questions for Sunday. They haven't stated if he's going to start or not. I would lean towards no. And if that's the case, I'm getting Jackson Smith and Jigba the ball as many times as I can. I want to establish JSN as our true number 2. So I would be getting him the ball a whole lot this week. I got the Bills winning this game, unfortunately. I got the Bills 31, Seahawks 27. I just expect the Bills to be able to score more points against our defense. But if the defense from last week shows up, then we're cooking with some oil, or whatever the frickin' term is, dude. Whatever. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers at the Denver Broncos. I almost debated not talking about this game. I'll be 100%. I'm done with the Panthers. I think they got to go back to Bryce Young. Andy Dalton is just not good. I think he had the one good game, just because I think it was a change of pace for this team, and they got their one win. But they won 2 games last year. I'll kind of be surprised if they win 2 games this year. They're awful. Their O-line sucks. Their offensive coordinator, he just needs a reality check, because I don't think he knows what the hell he's calling. This team is just not good offensively, and their defense, not good either. I don't know what this team is doing. They need a full rebuild. Trade everybody, send Bryce Young to the Seahawks, and just start over, okay? All right, and over to the Broncos. Feed Javonte Williams, man. This team is very good when they have a balanced passing and running game, especially with mistake-free game manager Bo Nix. Get Javonte Williams the ball as often as you can, and I think it's a recipe for success for this team. And we saw it last week for sure. I think their defense is playing very well, kind of surprisingly well. I know Sean Payton isn't like a bad defensive head coach, I guess, but I don't know. I didn't expect them to be this good, so I'm optimistic about these Broncos. But can they beat the Chiefs? That's a whole other freaking question. I got the Broncos winning this game. I got the Broncos 30, Panthers 20. I'll kind of be surprised if the Panthers score 20 or more. Our next game is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs, the last remaining undefeated team. So I think they have the best defense in the league. Chris Jones is, in my opinion, he is my pick for MVP. I think Mahomes is playing like ass, but who cares, dub. So I think if this defense continues to play this well, I don't think this team is going to be losing anytime soon, especially not against the Raiders. But also, breaking freaking news: DeAndre Hopkins has been traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. So this, I guess the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl again, dude. 3-peat. God damn it, Baltimore! How did you let this happen, dude? Why didn't you guys go sign D-Hop? Whatever. Move on. As for the Raiders, it's time to cut Minshew. He's awful. He's just not good. He's not a starting quarterback in this league. He's barely a backup, in my opinion. He has just... I've seen way more bad play from him than good play, and I just don't think Minshew's it. So, in my opinion, don't start him again. I think they should not be giving up on their run game that easily. I think Madison, he was definitely serviceable last week, but they kind of were just getting away from it. And then Minshew threw three interceptions last week. This team is just not good. Their offensive coordinator is just not scheming well, in my opinion. And it's just not working. Everything they are trying is just not working, in my opinion. And I'm not sure who their quarterback is going to be this week. They did sign Desmond Ridder, so maybe he's going to start. Maybe they go back to Minshew. Maybe I'm not going to watch this game because the Chiefs are going to freaking blow them out. I got the Chiefs 27, Raiders 6. I don't expect the Raiders to score very many points against the Chiefs. Just elite defense, in my opinion. So I got the Chiefs big in this one. Our next game is the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. I wish Jaden Daniels was playing in this game. This game would have been tremendous to watch if he was. So the Bears, they're fresh off a bye. And I think if they continue to push the run game, I think Caleb Williams is going to continue to have success. Because I think if Swift is playing well, this offense is playing very well. And I think this is a very good test for Caleb Williams. So we're going to see what he's actually got this week. As for the Commanders, no Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota will be the starter. I like Marcus. I'm an Oregon fan, so I like Marcus, and I hope he's successful with his team. Just as a fan. I think Brian Robinson's return was super crucial for their success. just having the option, and I say this with a lot of teams, so it's going to sound like I'm repeating, the run pass option for teams is the quintessential reason for a lot of success. Because if the opposing team doesn't know what you're doing, if they don't know if you're passing or running the ball, then you hold all the cards and you can pick and choose exactly what you're doing, and the only thing that can hurt you is yourself. So I think having Brian Robinson return is very, very good for this team, and especially when Jaden Daniels comes back, I think this team is going to have a lot of success. I think their defense is playing very hungry, and I really like this team. I really like what this team's doing. Continue to do so, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a defensive battle a little bit. I got the Bears winning it, though. I got the Bears 24, Commanders 21. I was kind of hoping the Commanders would have Jaden Daniels, because I think a Jaden Daniels Commanders team beats this Bears team, in my opinion. But without him, I got the Bears. All right, now moving over to Sunday Night Football, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. So for the Cowboys, I think their offense can't move the ball for shit. I don't know who their running back is, but it does not exist. And Jerry Jones will not go sign anybody. He's perfectly content with just having the title of Dallas Cowboys owner, GM, freaking. Might as well just make him the head coach. God, I hate this team. I hate everything this team's doing. I think their defensive injuries plague them. I think D-Law is still out. I think Micah is still out. I haven't heard if they are starting or returning this week, but they have so many injuries. This team is just not doing anything well, in my opinion. I'm very, very low on the Cowboys right now. I think they are fresh off a bye, so hopefully they got a little bit healthier, but I'm not optimistic for this Cowboys team right now. As for the 49ers, I think Brock Purdy got picked apart last week. And I know there's a lot of people, especially I watch First Things First. So Nick Wright, I know he's been saying that Brock Purdy went back to being a pumpkin. I don't think that's the case. I think Brock is still good, but he definitely does need his playmakers to make plays, because Kyle Shanahan does exactly what I described another team doing, the Chargers. He likes his playmakers to get the ball outside so they can make plays. And I think it's a recipe for success when you have Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo. You know, when you have all of those guys, this offense is elite. But when it's not, it just takes a couple steps down, and Brock has to just relax and take what the defense is giving you. And I think this team can return to being successful, in my opinion. I just don't give up on the run game. Jordan Mason's still serviceable. I think he can still do a lot of the things that you need him to do. Get him involved in the passing game just a little bit more, but don't give up on the run game for sure. And I think they do have to get used to second and third stringers. Brandon Ayuk is done for the year. I'm still not sure when Christian McCaffrey's coming back. I drafted him first overall in my fantasy draft. Why did I do that? I knew the 49ers were just going to screw me like they always do. Anyway, I got the 49ers winning this game, though. But this one definitely could go either way, especially if the Cowboys got a little bit healthier. But as of right now, I got the 49ers 27 and Cowboys 24. And moving over to Monday Night Football, we have the New York Giants at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know who scheduled this game for Monday night, but whatever. We'll talk about it. So for the Giants, Daniel Jones ain't it. He's just not a starting quarterback in this league, in my opinion. And I think they had no run game last week, which is not a recipe for success, especially not with this team, because you're asking Daniel Jones to carry you, and I would say 9 times out of 10, he cannot do it. He can't do it. So yeah, I just don't know what this team wants to be offensively. And I think it's a good, maybe even great defense wasted on this team. And I think their head coach is going to get fired, which I hate for them, because I like their head coach a lot. So if he gets fired, you know, I hope he gets another job soon. But really unfortunate, because their offense is just ass. As for the Steelers, is Russell Wilson back? Is Russ back? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see going forward, but I'm not sure if Russ is back quite yet. So I'm not ready to say it. I liked what I saw from Russ last week. He had to knock off some of the rust last week in the first quarter, but after that, he looked pretty vintage, in my opinion. I think this team just looks happier. Najee Harris looks happier. The defense looks happier. This team is just, I think, happier because they are scoring like they should be scoring. And I think their defense is elite as hell, probably top 5 in the league. And I think this team is doing a lot of things right. I got the Steelers winning this game. I got the Steelers big. I don't expect the Giants to score very many points in this game, but I also don't expect the Steelers to score a lot of points, in my opinion. So I got the Steelers 20, Giants 3. And with that being said, that is my Week 8 NFL predictions. What did you guys think? Be nice to me in the comments. I read all the comments, even if I don't reply, because I like constructive criticism. So let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And I will catch you guys next week for Week 9.